Hey there, welcome back to my channel. Today I have such a fun video for you guys, and it is all about bunnies. Let me show you the bunnies that I made for this video. Here they are in all their glory. I made 10 different bunny patterns, and I'm gonna review all of them and discuss them with you as they all go flying all over the floor. And I'm just so excited to show these with you. If you are in the market for a bunny pattern, if you're getting ready to have you're gonna go to a fair, festival, or something like that, or you just wanna make a really cute bunny for a friend or even for yourself, this is the video for you. This is the bunny pattern that I'm gonna be reviewing today. It is so cute. This is by Crochet Patterns. And it is a perfect market make. I have a market next weekend and I have made 10 of these little guys. I started last night, finished today. I was able to make each bunny in about 30 minutes. I made all of the ears in one sitting and then I went back. So what I love about this pattern is that there's literally no sewing. So you make the ears and then you start with the rounds. So you crochet 6 and then when you start doing your increases, one of the increases is one ear and then you do another increase and then you do the third ear and then you continue doing your increases. So it's like a little flat circle with the ears hanging down and then you just continue working your way up. There are 4 bobble stitches for the arms and legs, and then I surface crochet the little bunny tail in the back. Overall, I think this is a perfect little market make. I'm going to show you the different colors that I made. I made 2 in Fluffy Flex Gray. This one is the biggest one. I used an 8mm hook because the yarn is so bulky, where this is mystical yarn and I used a 6.5mm hook, but I could have also gone down to probably a 5mm hook. I was trying to keep them the same size. I used velvet noses that I bought off of Amazon, and I will link those down below so that you guys can try them out. And then I also used a 12mm eye on these. I think I used a 12mm eye on all of them. What I love about them is their ears just kind of all go different directions. Like you can I tacked the ears. I left one long strand up here and then I tacked the ears when I was done. But if you want, you can actually leave the ears loose. You can also tack them down if you want them to be down. So I made 2 in this mystical yarn. I made 2 in this really pretty Bernat yarn. Again, I used the velvet nose and the 12mm eyes. I really like the size of this one. It's slightly smaller than the Flex yarn by Michaels, but I think they're both really cute. I used the same size nose and eyes on all of these. So I made 2 in the gray, Fluffy Flex, that's what it's called. 2 in the gray, 2 in the mystical, 2 in this pink color. Can't get my camera in the right spot. And then I made 2 in yellow because I really wanted an option for people who don't like pink, either boys or teenagers or girls that don't like pink or just anyone. But I really like the yellow one. I think it's really cute. My idea at my market is to put these in an Easter basket with some grass. And I also made this one. I made 2 of these. I just love this yarn. So cute, so adorable. I love the colorway. So yeah, I made 10 of this pattern. I think it's a perfect market make. I would definitely recommend it. You can just pump out 10 of them within like a day and it's gonna be awesome. So I started with 10 and I'll make more if I have time. But yeah, really like this pattern a lot. So go out and find it or look at the link down below. The next bunny pattern I have for you is just the most perfect market make bunny. And it is by Crocheting by Nicole. And it is this adorable Squish bunny. His little ears kind of curl over, but mostly they stay up. He has 4 legs that are crocheted while you are in the round. Nothing is crocheted separately. I crocheted this guy in about 20 minutes. By the time I had made the 10th one, I was crocheting it under 20 minutes. You start with white yarn and then you go into the yarn that you want the bunny to be. I used a velvet nose and I think it turned out really cute, but you could also embroider the nose if you want to. I used plastic safety eyes, but you could also embroider the eyes. And then he has a white cottontail in the back. I just slip stitched and pulled up a loop, and then I just did a couple double crochets to make that little tail in the back. He's so cute, so easy, so squishy. I just took him to a market and everyone loved him who picked him up and squished him and saw him. But this is a great market make if you are looking for something quick and easy to get to make. And also if you want to throw some bunnies in your child's Easter basket, I think this would be a really cute pattern. I used Naughty Ball yarn for this one with a 7mm hook, but I've also made this pattern with chenille yarn with a 4.5mm hook, and they both turn out really cute. Our next pattern is by a very talented maker called Bunny Crochet Patterns. She's one of my favorite YouTubers out there right now, and mostly I love that she lives in Maine because I'm getting ready to move to Maine. And it's this adorable bunny named Juniper, and she was super easy to make. So the only thing you have to do is crochet the arms, legs, and the ears. And then the arms are actually crocheted in the round, and then the little back legs are just crocheted or sewed in at an angle, and then you just sew the ears at the top. I love the way that the ears kind of buckle in a little bit. They kind of go in a little bit. I think it makes them stand up really well. I gave her some little eyelashes. These are 25mm sinker eyes and this really pretty pink glitter paint. And then I embroidered her nose in a very light pink chenille. But I just love the shape of her body and her head, and then her little tail. I just made the tail and then sewed it on. I think it's perfect. She sits really nicely on a table. And she took me about 1 hour and 15 minutes. When I made her the second time, it took me more like an hour. But I would definitely recommend her for a gift or for a market or for just for someone special. I made this one with Naughty Ball yarn and a 7mm hook, so she's pretty big, but she definitely would be about half this size if you used chenille yarn. So go check her out. This pattern can be found on Ko-fi. I never know how to say that. But yeah, go check her out for this adorable, cute bunny pattern. Hey, it's the next day and I'm ready to share another bunny pattern with you. This is the absolutely adorable star bunny pattern. This is something I don't know. I don't know if there is like Mario Kart or maybe Hello Kitty or something where this bunny comes from. I couldn't find that, but this pattern is by lovely.crochet. And this is the cool part, it's free. She has a free pattern on Instagram, and she also has a YouTube tutorial. So if you're very new at crocheting, then you may want to go follow along and do this pattern with her. One thing that I love about this pattern is the way the ears stand straight up in the air, and I'm gonna tell you what I did to help them to do that. That's how they are in the picture, but when I sewed mine on, they were kind of splitting a little bit, so then I just tacked in the center a little stitch to help them stay straight up and down. I think it looks a little more cartoonish that way and a little more like a Sanrio character. So to make this pattern, you have to make a lot of parts separately. You're gonna make 2 arms, you're gonna make 2 ears, you're going to make 2 legs, and then you're going to make a bunny tail. Then you're gonna make the head separately, and then everything has to be sewn on. So you start with 1 leg, you set it aside, then you make the second leg, and then when you get to about this part right here, then you connect with a stitch, and then you just start making your way around until you get to the neck, and then you stop. One thing that kind of surprised me about this pattern is that there's no cinching of any kind. Like everything is wide open. Even this last round of the body, I thought for sure I needed to do another decrease row. But the thing is, I think they really want the head to sit right on the body evenly and not have like a dip in. And that's kind of like the charm to this pattern, is that it so smoothly goes together. In fact, hers looks even smoother than mine did. Then you sew the arms on. This arm I sewed slightly too low. If you look at her, like the example that she gives, the arm is really supposed to come straight out right underneath the head. And I probably needed to move that up a little bit. I like the way the ears turned out. As far as this star, she uses like a felt star and she glued it on. I didn't have a felt star, so I just embroidered my best version of a star. But I think overall he turned out really cute. She also uses felt blush, which I think is a lot cuter than what I used. But at the time I didn't have any pink felt. So she also embroidered a black nose and I embroidered a pink nose. So you can kind of do what you want with that. If you want to add the felt, I think it would look even more like Sanrio cartoonish. but I used Naughty Ball yarn white for this, and it turned out really cute. This pattern only took me a little over an hour to make, and I would definitely recommend it. The next pattern I'm gonna share with you guys is one of my all-time favorite bunny patterns. I've been making it for as long as it's been out. I wanna say I started to make these bunnies back in the spring of last year, and I've been taking them to a bunch of different markets and they always sell out. They're super popular, and it's the Beth bunny. I call this the farmer bunny. She is so cute, and the thing that I really love about the Beth bunny and pretty much all of Oak and Marlowe's patterns is that it works up so incredibly fast. It's a very thin pattern, like she has very thin legs. So this is how you do it. You make one leg and then you make the other leg. You close up this leg and then you do like 2 single crochets in the center and then you single crochet across. And then in the outer layer, you just start making rows. You don't have to make very many rows to get up her body. At this point, you color change back to her body. You make the arms separately. And then I just made this little pocket on my own. But the cool thing about the neck and the head is that you decrease down to a pretty small neck and then you increase in order to make the head. So there's no sewing on of the head, which makes it super easy for beginners. Excuse me, something's in my eye. You do have to crochet the arms, and I will make a recommendation. Sorry, she has fuzz coming out of her. I will make a recommendation with Beth Bunny. So the arms in the pattern have 5 single crochets in the magic ring, and then you do 5 single crochet all the way up to the top of the arm, and then you sew it on. I felt like that made for a very bulky arm, so I went down to 4 single crochets in a magic ring, and then I crocheted 7 rows up to the shoulder. But overall, I think she's really adorable, and the cool thing about this pattern is that there are tons of modifications. There are a bunch of different animals. You can give them mermaid tails, you can give them dresses, you can give them ballet outfits. There's a bunch of modifications even within one pattern. So I would definitely recommend this pattern for a beginner or just anyone that wants something really fun. Now, I did purchase on Amazon these little carrot buttons, and I did hot glue one to the front of her pocket. My plan for these carrot buttons was that I was going to use it for a sweater for a bunny, and I didn't realize, because I didn't read like the directions, how tiny this little button is, and so I wasn't able to use it, but I did decide to hot glue it to the front of her pocket. At one of my markets, I put like a little acorn in here, and it was so cute. But I have made lots of these bunnies, and I also have had custom orders for these bunnies. You can change them up and do different colored overalls. And all you do to make the little straps up here is you just pull up a stitch with your crochet hook, and then I just chained, and then you just attach in the back. So it's such an easy pattern, so adorable, and honestly, for the amount of time that you take making her, she's worth every single penny. So I would definitely recommend this pattern by Oak and Marlowe. It is a paid pattern on Etsy. It is time for the next pattern, and this is gonna be a little snuggler, which are one of my favorite things to make. And her name is Bonnie Baby Bunny. I hope with the color that you guys can see it. She is precious. There are 2 different versions of this pattern. There's the Bonnie Baby Bunny, and then there's the Bonnie Bunny. They're both created by Mod Threads. And of course the baby is smaller, and then the Bonnie Bunny is like a normal size of a normal snuggler. But she has a very unique shape to her face. She has these little cheeks that you fill with stuffing, and then you do some face shaping on the eyes right here, and then you do a little bit of face shaping with this little piece of yarn here, and what it does is it gives you those little chubby cheeks. So let's see, when I made this pattern, I had to crochet the arms separately, the ears separately, and the head separately. And then I started with one leg like you do most of these patterns, then went to the second leg, and then you do a couple stitches in the middle and start working your way around. Once you get up here by the arms, you crochet the arms in the round, and I think I crocheted mine a little too far forward. I think they're supposed to be more like that, but that's okay. And then I also had to crochet the tail, which I sewed on. When you get to the ears, you sew those on. And then the body is just sewn onto one of the last rounds of the head. The last thing that I did was I made this adorable pink headband, which all of the little snugglers tend to have some kind of a headband or bonnet. You don't have to do that, it's optional. I did embroider her eyes because honestly, I cannot believe how many parents and grandparents did not want the plastic eyes. I mean, I understand it, I don't expect it, but I, as a maker, had gotten a little lazy and started to use plastic eyes on all my snugglers, and it definitely caused a problem. So I'm starting off right, and I'm making the Bonnie baby bunny with her embroidered eyes. I don't know if you can see the color, but she is a chocolate brown color, and this is Naughty Ball yarn, and then this is also Naughty Ball yarn. But I think she's really, really cute. You probably would be able to see her a little bit better if she was a lighter color. But I would definitely recommend this paid pattern by Mod Threads. It's on Etsy, and it's gonna be a hit at your next market. Everybody loves her. You guys are gonna love this next pattern. It is a free pattern on Instagram called Baby Bow Bunny, and it's a free pattern. I'm shocked that it's free. And I'm gonna put the creator on the screen because I can't pronounce it, but it looks like Ame Biabi. So I'll put that on the screen, and I'm gonna show you how it turned out. It is adorable. Now hers is in cream with a pink bow. It has a little pink bow purse. I literally made this bunny in like about an hour and 15 minutes. It didn't take long at all. The ears are huge. You kind of sew them kind of close to the back because you want them to kind of hang behind her head. And then she's got this precious bow purse around her shoulders. I think maybe I need to make this string a little bit longer. I think I'll fix that. But you crochet the head separately, and then you crochet the arms separately, and then you start with one foot, and then you go to the other one, and then you link them with one single crochet, twirl your way around until you get to the top. And at this point, you sew the head on, which is a lot of stitches, by the way. And then you sew the arms on, you stuff them, and then you sew the ears on, and then you make this bow purse. And her directions for the bow purse are so simple and easy, and she even includes a video in case you're confused by it, because there are two pieces. But I am gonna make the purse strap a little bit longer, but oh my gosh, she's so cute. And I do need to add a little poof at the back. You can tell right here that this needs to be longer. I'm gonna add a little bunny tail poof in the back just to make her complete. But you guys, go out and find this pattern. It is so cute. Last bunny pattern for you today. It's one that I finished last night, and it is this precious little adorable easy market make. And the coolest thing about this bunny is that it is free on Instagram. It is by Loopy Bear Studio, and she is precious. Okay, so this pattern is extremely quick. I think I made her easily under 30 minutes. Her ears are crocheted separately, and the tail is actually crocheted separately. Oh, no, it's not, sorry. The tail is crocheted in the round. These are just bobbles. So you do these 2 bobble stitches for the hands, 2 bobble stitches for the legs, and then you do a bobble stitch back here. I didn't think it showed up enough, so I went over it with white yarn just to make it puff out a little bit. And then you just sew the ears on top. This would be a great option for embroidery eyes if you want to do that. I went ahead and just embroidered the nose, and then the pattern calls for this adorable little bow. I just think she is the cutest, easiest market make. I made her with Bernat yarn and a 7mm hook, and just such a quick bake. So go check it out and make yourself this adorable little bunny pattern. Out of all the bunnies that I've looked at so far, this would be a perfect one to make a bunch of for market. I think it is just really easy to make up, and it really is a cute little bunny. Hey there guys, I have another great pattern for you today that is a bunny, and good news, it's free. Check out this pattern by Dreamy Knots Crochet. It is this adorable laying down bunny. I haven't made a laying down bunny yet in this series, so I'm really excited about that. He's really, really cute. The pattern is super easy to follow, and it actually has some really good diagrams because initially I was a little confused about where to place the back legs and where to place the front legs, and her diagrams are really, really nice. This is how the bunny turned out. I decided to use this really cute peach color in Bernat yarn. And let's talk about the pattern. So this pattern, like all the other bunny patterns, has lots of little parts. If you don't like crocheting individual parts, pretty much all the bunny patterns are not for you, except for maybe the one where you do bobble stitches for arms and legs. So for this guy, I made 2 little arms, I made 2 back legs, 1 tail, 2 ears, and a head. And then you have to sew everything together. So the head is sewed on. You know, I'm kind of used to sewing at this point, so it doesn't bother me. Also, sometimes when you crochet things in the round, they don't always turn out where you want them to be because maybe your stitch is off or whatever. But I didn't mind sewing them on. I think this guy took me about an hour and a half, and it was because I was looking very closely at the pattern just to make sure I was understanding it correctly. I decided to go ahead and embroider the eyes because, like I said at my last market, I didn't have enough items that were embroidered, and I really feel like this is a really cute bunny. So the eyes are brown, and then I just did the little twinkle in white and a little detail on the side, and then I used a velvet nose. I did use a 7mm hook for her, and I really like the way she turned out. Her body is so plump. It almost looks like an egg when you make the body. I'll insert a picture because I actually took a picture of the body. And then initially I forgot to make the head, and I thought this was the head, and I was starting to like attach ears and stuff to it. And then I realized I had not made the head yet because I was so used to crocheting one whole body. But yeah, you have to make 2, like 1 oval piece and then 1 round piece. But she's so cute. My only complaint for her is that she doesn't really stay in this position. When you put her on the table or whatever, she kind of falls forward. I think if her front legs were a little bit longer or a little bit bigger, she would stay upright. The other option, well, yeah, there's no way. She's gonna fall forward. But overall, I really like this pattern. I would make more of them, and I actually just purchased on Amazon Feels Like Bliss yarn because I see so many of you using Feels Like Bliss, and I think bunny patterns would be perfect for that yarn. So I'm really hoping that I get that yarn in before I'm done making this video. But yeah, if you really like this pattern, all of the patterns will be linked down below in a Google Doc so that I can create clickable links for you, and it just makes it a lot easier for me to add them all into a list. But don't forget to look down there. And again, this is a free pattern, really cute. You guys, I'm so excited to show you this pattern that I just finished. Of course, it's a bunny because this is a bunny video. It is by NASCA's Crafty Corner. And I am just like floored at how cute and adorable this bunny is. Are you ready? Look at this bunny. You guys, this is a free pattern on Instagram. I could not believe it. When I saw it, I was like, I'm sure that's not a free pattern, and it was. So a few things that I love about this bunny is the belly. Look at the belly. And the placement of the ears kind of gives him that little expression, you know, kind of like sweet little bunny look. And oh my gosh, he's so cute. So I made this with loops and threads yarn, which I wanted to use something super, super soft. And so that's why I chose this. I wanted her to be a little more on the smaller side. And I just think she's so cute. So you, of course, have to make the legs separately, arms separately, ears separately. I just realized that she doesn't have a tail. I need to add a little tail. I don't know if that was in the pattern or not. And then you make this perfectly oval shaped head. Now, once you add the eyes, of course you can do embroidered eyes, but I did safety eyes. Then you shape the face, and that's where it gets really cute. So if you've never done this before, you bring your needle in through the bottom and out this side of the left eye, then loop it over back in here, and then you go through the head, you go out here, and then back in on this side of the eye, and then you go back to that center place where you put your needle in the first place and give it a gentle pull. You will get the most perfect face shaping. Now, if you want the whole entire face to really go in, that's a whole nother story, and I put a description on how to do that in my wombat pattern. So if you did not see my wombat pattern or did not purchase it, there's lots of different tutorials out there on face shaping. The last part is that you bring a piece of thread right between the nose and down here. Now, I shouldn't have used the loops and threads yarn for that because it was a little too thick. I should have used worsted weight yarn because it allows the cheeks to kind of puff up, and I think it would have turned out a little bit better. Another thing to think about with this pattern, and it isn't mentioned at all, is that when you make the legs, you slightly stuff them, and it says to bring the sides together and single crochet across. The feet need to be facing forward, and then it needs to be flat against the body. So if the feet would have been facing forward and I would have closed it this way, then I wouldn't have been able to sew it onto the body correctly. So it's really important that you flatten it with the feet facing forward so that you can sew it across this way. And kind of same thing with the arm, it slightly goes forward. And so you want to crochet that arm flat to where it's facing the right direction. But oh my gosh, she's so cute. So this pattern is on Instagram. It doesn't even have a name. It just says free pattern. But I'm going to have it linked below so that you guys can go make her. I think she would be so cute in Feels Like Bliss yarn. And I'm definitely probably going to make one of her as soon as I get that yarn. But oh my gosh, she's so cute. I hope you guys love her, and I hope that you will go make your own little sweet bunny. Well, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. And remember that if there's any patterns that I mentioned today that you would like to go out and make yourself, there is a Google Doc down below with all of the links so that you can go out and get your free patterns or purchase the pattern if it is a paid pattern. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this video. And also, if you could give me a suggestion on other pattern reviews that you would like to see. The recent request was a caterpillar, and I think somebody else said a monkey, but if you have a great idea for me, I would love to hear it. And thank you so much for joining me. I will see you in the next one. Bye.